everybody. It is Deanna from Stitches Quilting, and today we are going to do a tutorial on how to make a pleated face mask, which is right here. And we are going to go through all of the tips and the tricks of how to make this pleated face mask today. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you are here. This is a live video that is filmed for you, so you guys can make comments, and if you have questions or anything like that, you can go ahead and share anything that you have for questions and things like that, and that way I can answer them. So let's go ahead and get started. I am from Salt Lake City, Utah, and today we have now been encouraged to wear a face mask when we are out and about by the CDC. So this is a medical grade face mask. They are encouraging us not to go and buy some of these. We have these left over from when my son had pneumonia. But I have a pattern here for you. It is a free pattern that comes in adult sizes and small sizes. This is a pleated face mask. Hi, Linda. Hi, Linda from Kansas. Let me know you guys are here, and let me know where you're from. So I would love to be able to sit here with you guys. What kind of face masks have you guys been making? And all sorts of different adventures. We have actually made this face mask last week. It is a fitted face mask with a nose wire in there and some elastic straps on the side. But this week, we're going to go, everybody's kind of, hi Pauline! People are running out of elastic, so we are going to do the binding strips here. And a lot of the donation ones, they wanted, hi Molly from Southern Arizona, and hi Angie from Indiana. So, but we're going to make up with the binding straps, and I'm going to show you how to make all of those. If you guys have been making them, give me all your tips of things that you have been doing so that we can learn from everybody, because I'm not just the only expert or the only person that knows these things. I know so many of you guys have been making just hundreds and hundreds of masks. So hi Karen, how are you? So let's go to the overhead camera and let's go ahead and take a look at the things that we need for this project. So we're going to make the pleated face mask right here. For this project, of course, we need some sewing scissors. I have a free pattern for you guys. The pattern is, all you have to do is on Facebook. Oh, let me go ahead and pull that up really fast. Is just say, oh, let me find it. Oh, hold on. Just let me know that you would like the pattern. And let's see here. Here we go. So let me know that you would like the pattern, and on Facebook, it will automatically send you the pattern from that has this at stitchesquilting.com. On YouTube, you can find the pattern on the description in the link. The link is below the description. So what we're first going to be using is, let me go ahead and go back to my screen so I can see what you guys are seeing. Oh my gosh, Andy, how many face masks have you guys been making? So Angie just hit 250. Wow. Let me go back to the front. I am going to actually be making a ton of them. Hi, Cheryl from Nova Scotia, Canada. The state of Utah has asked for 15,000 face masks for their home, for the nursing homes, so that people have a little bit more of those to be made. So they're asking for face masks to be made for the state of Utah for all of the nursing homes. And it is from the Department of Health, the Utah State Department of Health. If you want to ship any here my way, you can go ahead and ship them to my address, which is available publicly everywhere. So, but I can go ahead and get you that information. But I'm sure all of you guys have got amazing places to be actually sending your face masks to. But we finally have a order here in the state of Utah that they'd like 15,000 face masks. We need a ruler for this project. I'm using a rotary cutter blade and my rotary cutting mat here. I've got a pair of wire cutters. I've got some floral wire. We're going to go ahead and put a piece of wire in the top of it. It is a plastic coated floral wire that we're going to be using. I'm going to be using, of course, my seam ripper, a pencil, some pins, and or some binding clips. So sometimes we use this for our quilts. Hi, Jan. You've been making masks as well. A great scrap buster project to pay it forward. I agree. I think that there's lots of things there. Oh, we also need 2 strips, 2-inch strips of fabric that are the width of fabric. Although for the adult size, we're going to be using a 36-inch piece of this. I have cut this width of fabric, which is from selvage to selvage. But, so those are the things that we need for this pattern right here. This pattern does have a pocket in it. So I'll show you there are 2 different fabrics. The printed one on the outside for this particular mask. And there is a more of a solid fabric here on the front. It's more of a blender fabric. But it does have a pocket for you to put a filter in if you want one. So for adults, you want to cut pieces of fabric that are 7 by 9 inches for an adult piece. And for children, you want to cut these 5 by 7. What sizes and things have you learned? If you want the pattern on Facebook, go ahead and just say in the thing that you'd like the pattern and it will send it to you. If you want it on YouTube, you'll get the pattern by actually going to the description, and there will be the link right there. Okay, I've got my trusty iron here, and this is my little pressing mat that I use for live videos, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on. And what we are going to do right here is I am using 2 pieces of one fabric that is 7 by 9 and 1 piece of the printed fabric that'll go on the outside. And what we are going to do is just fold these over for the inside so that they're pressed in half. Okay? So we're just going like this, and this enables it for a pocket to be in there, for a pocket to be in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and press this and just give it a press horizontally here. And there we go. So we can see that. All right. So there's my pressing that I've done so far. I have step outs on this, so I'm hoping it will go faster, that this instruction will go faster. I am taking, this is the raw edge side of my fabric of it being pressed. You can see there's a little bit of a frayed edge. This is my folded side. I'm going to place the folded side towards the center. Once again, on this side, I've got my raw edges right here. I'm going to lay this down and place the folded side toward the center. I'm going to pin this very, very quickly. And I'm sewing everything 3/8 of a seam. What face mask patterns have you guys appreciated using? Oh, there's an extra thread there. And here we go. So once again, my folded seams are in the center. This will allow for us to have a pocket, a finished pocket right here in the center. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to stitch down a 3/8 of an inch along the shorter sides. So let's go ahead and go over to the sewing machine. And, oh, I've got a, oh, sorry guys. Let me go ahead and switch. Maybe that camera is, oh, that camera is, there we go. Wait, hold on. Maybe that is not working. Let me see if this camera is still on. Let me just close it, turn it back off and on. Sometimes I will have things go a little wacky. Let me plug that back in and see if it will transfer. Yep, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and bring this over to the sewing machine. Remember, the folded fabric is right here, and I'm going to stitch down the left and the right side. So I'm going to bring it over, and I am stitching 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to make sure those 2 folds are just kissing up right next to each other at the center of this. And let's bring this up. And I'm going to flip it around. So I have to just be so grateful for all the good blessings that there are out there in the world. I am grateful that our little household is running just fine, and all of us are healthy at this moment, which I think is just wonderful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and trim my thread, And you can see I've got just a stitch line down on both sides right there. Okay, let's bring it back over to the overhead camera. Okay, so there's our stitched line. We are now going to go ahead and turn this inside out and press it. So you can see I've got my brighter fabric, which is like this hashtag fabric right here. And then I have a blender on this other side. So I'm going to turn it inside out. Not much to turn inside out there. And then I'm going to lay this down on my pressing mat and give it another press. So let's go ahead and just bring this down. Now, how do you guys pleat your patterns? How do you pleat, not pleat your pattern, but pleat your masks? Please tell me all the different ways that you guys pleat everything. And we're going to put 3 pleats in this. You want the pleats to face downward, and it's good to be using 2 different fabrics so people know which one to put towards their mouth and which one goes out. So we're going to take, I'll move my pressing mat here so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to take about the 1st inch right here, and I'm going to fold this down 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and use some pins here so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going ahead and I'm folding this down about 1/2 inch of a fold. You can see right there. And I'm doing it about an inch from the top. So let's go ahead and bring this pleat over on the other side. And we want it to be consistent from the left and right side. How are you guys pleating your patterns? And where have you been sending your patterns to help other people out there? I know we are trying to make sure people in our neighborhood are getting the patterns, getting face masks. If they're older and they can't get out and things like that. And then we are also trying to donate face masks to the State of Utah Health Department. So where have you guys been sending yours? And you can see I'm just kind of accordion folding and pleating this down. Okay, one more. And then I've got one already set up here. So how are you guys pleating yours? Yes, Kim, the pattern should send to you. And Janice, the pattern through Facebook should just go directly to you. If you make a comment that you'd like the pattern, it'll go to you. The link will go to you in Messenger. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this again. Now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and press these. So you can see I've got a good pleat in there and on both sides. So let's go ahead and pull over my pressing mat. And I like to get a really good press, but I'm also trying not to cover up my pins too much. Your pleats are approximately 2 fingers down, Jan, from the top, then repeat again. And you've been doing 2 pleats on each mask. Now that's smart. I like that, Jan. I like that a lot. Okay, so now what I've done, then I turn this over so I'm not actually pleating the top on top of my pins, if I've got pins here, all right? But I've got some other setups here, which I want to show you because I've tried to kind of jump ahead. But you can see right here, I've got this pleated out. I like the idea of you doing just 2 pleats. That's fantastic, Jan. I like that. But you can see right here, I've got these pleated. You can use binding clips to have them pleated or pins. And I also pressed this on both sides. So this is a great way to go ahead and get that done. But I wanted to get another set. So let's go ahead and feed this through the sewing machine. And we're gonna stitch right on top of this. All right. And I'm gonna want to stitch it. So let's go ahead and take it over to the sewing machine right here. And you can see I've got my binding clips right here, and I'm going to do a stitch here. On this side, I have my sewing machine or the sewing pins right there, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it with the binding clips first. When I stitch this, I have a feature on my sewing machine where it will have my needle always stay up or always stay down. So if you have that feature, I think that's a great thing to have. I'm going to stitch this just a little bit, bring that out, take out that binding clip, and then feed that through. Put my needle down is right there. So then I'm going to go ahead and just push that through some more. And once again, my needle is staying down. When you need to shift, you can go ahead and put your needle in that down position if you don't have that automatic feature on your sewing machine. That's definitely something I appreciate. So this then secures your pleats right in place there. You can see that small stitching line. Let's go ahead and flip over to the pins. So binding clips and pins both work, and they both work great. Okay, let's see here. So let's go ahead and stitch this same side over here. Now, if you can, share the video. If there's some place that you would like to share the video to, if you think that this is helpful, I try to make things as easy as I can. And let's go ahead, and I've got that stitched now on that second side with the pins. I did bring my pins in a little bit further to the edge, so I knew that my sewing machine would not run over them. Okay, let's go ahead and go over here to the next step. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put some wire in the nose rim. So, but first what we're going to do is we're going to take our binding strips. And I've got some samples here for you right now. The binding strips for an adult is 36 inches. How much length are you guys using? Hi, Liz, it's so good to see you. So what you're working with is you're starting out, we're going to pretend that this is 36 inches long for an adult and 30 inches long for a child. I have some already pressed and waiting. So when you have your binding strip, it's going to be a double fold binding strip. You can pre-purchase these made, but there's so many extra scraps over here that I can go ahead and make binding strips. I am starting with a 2-inch wide binding strip. So, and this makes it handy so that, you know, but of course you could use something narrower or slightly larger, whatever you feel is good. Now, I have pressed this in half. Remember, this is a double fold binding strip. So now we're going to press this again, and I'm going to press the edges in towards the center, just like that. And I'm going to lay my iron down, and I'm going to press this again, trying to keep that in there. I'm going to lay it across, move it across a little bit, and use my little technique. It's so good to see you guys. I am trying to make sure that our parents are fed in Utah here. We've got some elderly parents, and we're trying to take them meals and make sure they stay fed and everything else, and that they don't have to be running out. We have one person that needs, one of Corey's dad that's 100 needs to get his car registered. And then you're going to press this again, just like that. Okay, so that's how you prepare a binding strip. I'm going to show you the ones that I've prepped and I have ready. Let's see here. I've got one right here, and I'm going to show you how we could do these in stages, but I've already folded these, and I'm going to show you what I do. Is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold this over because I pressed this a little while ago. I'm going to bring it under my iron, and just for some mass production type usage here, I'm going to slip this through. What has made it so that Jan is using a 2.5-inch strip from Extra Binding or Jelly Rolls. They are also attached on each of the 4 corners to save fabric. Very good, Jan. To save fabric, 20 inches long for top of the mask or 17 inches long for around the neck. Folded in 3s like you are doing. Oh, very, very nice. Okay, so you can see I just ran this one through underneath the iron, and it's looking a lot more pressed and nice. Okay, it's easier to work with. Oh, I dropped my other one. Yes, you guys, please. Oh, my goodness. I'm picking up different pieces that I don't need. Okay, so right here, we're going to lay this down again. I'm going to just kind of lay it on there, and I'm going to pull this through so when I'm working with it, it's a little bit more structured and barely pressed. So, and it just makes me feel a little bit better, and it actually kind of stretches it a little bit, which I think is just fine too. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is we also have to make sure our ends are finished. So I've got one end right here, and I'm going to open this back up, and this has all of the instructions in the pattern, but I am going to just fold this over one way. Let's go back to the sewing machine view. Roma has been using t-shirt yarn or crocheted cotton yarn. I like that. I like that, Roma. Thank you for that tip. In fact, I have got a t-shirt sitting here. Okay, so now all we're going to do is we're going to sew the end finished before we go ahead and close up our binding strip and attach it to the face mask. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and that's going to give us a little bit more of a closed edge there. I can trim off some of this so I don't have as much bulk when I'm sewing through it, you know, is always nice. And then this folds right back down to that closed area. Okay, let's go back to the overhead view. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to match the centers of each of these pieces. I'm going to take this center piece and match it with a pin. Yes, tell me all the ways that you guys are saving on supplies and time to make this a faster process. Okay, I'm going to match this as the center of this one right here. And I'm going to show you how I insert, and I'm going to match this side for the center one right over here. Okay, let me do that again because I don't feel like I have it matched real well. Although, you know, these things don't have to be perfect. I'm going to take this strip where I've matched it, and I'm going to match it up with that right there. I'm going to pull out my pins. I'm going to wrap the binding around the edge of this. Is anybody still able? You like the 3-piece fabric better. I do too than the 2-piece. With the opening at the bottom, it looks much simpler and is less time consuming. Yes, you know, it is less time consuming. You do have to use that extra fabric piece, but I find it's helpful to have that just have that in the center, that opening, and makes it a little less tedious. Okay, so that's that side right there. I'm now going to, I've got one binding strip attached to this, like that. And now I'm going to attach this other one. That way I've got just one straight line. I'm matching the center piece, and I'm going to lay that up right against this one. Let me go ahead and open up so the raw edges are going inside this double fold binding. So it's not really a bias binding because we haven't cut it on the bias, but it's a double fold binding. So that's another reason why it's kind of nice to just make your own binding instead of purchasing bindings. I find it works out a lot better. And I actually feel guilty for all the fabric I've thrown away in my lifetime, all the scraps that I could have used. Okay, so you can see right here, I've got this all pinned together, which I actually had another sample over here for you guys. That is so funny. Here, I'll go ahead and take this one out. Whoops, sorry guys, I'm banging the camera. Okay, I've cut a piece of wire right here. I am using floral wire for my top piece. When we're putting this in, we want to just curl the edges just ever so slightly. You can use any kind of tool that will work for you. And you can see I'm just curling that loop just a little bit there so my wire does not poke through the fabric. I'm starting with a 5-inch piece of wire. Okay, so I've just kind of curled those edges right there. Whoop. So you can see that right there, I think. All right, now I am going to slip this into the top of my outside of the mask. So typically the front of the mask, the outside, you want the pleats facing downward, okay? If you had it on this way, food could eventually go into the pleats, right? Is how I think about it. So the top of the mask where the nose ridge would be when the pleats are facing downward. To tell you the truth, I don't think people would care either way. I'm going to lay my piece of wire inside the top binding section of this. And I'm going to center it as good as I can. I'm going to come over here and use my pen. Let me get rid of some of these extra tools we don't need right here. Here we go. Okay, so I can feel my wire in there, but I'm going to mark on each side where the wire is ending. Let me pull out the wire so you can see what that looks like. So I have now created a small casing right there with the top binding. If you want to add wire, this would be a great way to do that. I'm now going to pin my wire in place so it's going to stay caught right there. And I'm going to stitch where I put the pencil mark. Let's go ahead and flip over to the camera view. Okay, so right here, I've made my pencil mark on either side, and I'm now going to stitch just right there. So, and you don't really need to back stitch too much or anything like that. And I'm going to bring it over and I'm going to back stitch right like this. Do you guys find that making these, oh, Angie says, ties cut 1 inch wide, give a little pull, and it curls up on itself. I sew into a seam on 4 corners. Very good, Angie. We are getting ready to make a whole bunch of these with our church. And myself and another lady are in charge of kind of getting the supplies out to everybody, providing the instructions, getting them back here. Okay, so let's go back to the overhead camera. So you can see I made that little casing right there to hold the wire. I am now going to take my mask starting at this end right here, and I'm going to stitch all the way down the whole segment of this binding strip, okay? So let me go ahead and take this back over to the camera right over by the sewing machine, and let's go ahead and stitch this closed. And sometimes if you can't get a start, pull these threads right at the back, your starting threads, and give it just a little bit of a tug, and that will help you get that through and get it started. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just stitch this along the whole path, and it's going to come up, and I'm going to want to take out my pin right there since I'm not looking at quite that side, and I'm going to close that. I want to catch this in here, and I'm going to bring this across. And once again, I want my needle to go up and then bring all the fabric under it at one time. I'm making sure that when I'm stitching this on the top of it, that my wire, remember my wire is right here. You can see my little casing that I made, that my wire is not going to go under the foot of my machine. I can feel the wire. So I'm not worried about that. And I'm going to bring this down. And I've made that small casing. And then I'm going to go ahead and just continue my stitches and finish this off. I often do not, for those of you guys that watch me regularly, I often do not use a back stitch to just save myself a little bit of time. I often just hold it just straight in place instead of doing my back stitching. Okay, so here we are. Gonna bring this in here, and then I'm gonna hold this in place for a moment, and that's pretty much a back stitch right there. Okay, let's go ahead and take that off, and I'm now going to do, so that is the side with the wire. So you can see with the wire, that's rigid and doing great. It's completely encased there. It didn't take much energy or effort. So now let's go ahead and do this next side, and I'm going to sew it completely down. Oops, sorry you guys, I bopped that with my foot. Let's go ahead and bring this over here. And once again, I'm going to pull this out so that I can get a good start on the edge. And bring this all the way down. So where have you guys been sending the face masks that you have been making? The Utah Department of Health has requested 15,000 face masks for their nursing homes, to be used in nursing homes. So I've been waiting for a formal call to action from a place that I knew, and I'm going to bring those through. And in our little church community, myself and another lady were put in charge of collecting face masks and getting supplies out to everybody. Is that not hysterical? So I'm going to be putting a bucket out my front door. And then make sure that things get safely delivered to people who want to make face masks that don't have supplies or are lacking a certain supply. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring this in. And I'm going to just hold that there, or I can hit my back stitch key. And we're going to bring that out. And we are done, you guys. I wonder how long this video was. Hold on, I'll give you the link to where... just one moment. I'm sorry. Let me go back to the Facebook page. I wonder if I should try... Oh, darn it. Okay, let me just go back to your chats. Okay, I was going to go ahead and put... I think I can put a link right here. Control V. No, that's the wrong link. I was going to put the link in. Let me go ahead and switch it to the face camera. And I have my little computer over here. So before I sign off, I'm going to put the link in case your chat is not working. I'm going to put this in for you where you can find the pattern. I've got different things. Oh, there we go. So there is one link. And for the fitted face mask, if you didn't see that video, the fitted face mask is available also. I've got a post and a pattern for that one too. And that pattern is actually with small, medium, large, and child. And this one we have in the adult size and also the child size. So these are the two patterns I've got for you. I think they work great. You can see I don't have too much length behind me with tying this on. Luke, do you want to come say hi to the ladies? Come on over. So you can see this right here. Do you still have your face mask? Luke went to the grocery store today. I'll go ahead and take this off for you guys. So you can go ahead. Let's see. Molly says she's going to make them for her coworkers now that we are required to wear them. You know what? I think you're wonderful, Molly. It's definitely hard. Oh, I put this on backwards. This is my outside side. And you can see right here is the side where the pocket is, where you can put the pocket, inside. So that's where that works. So anyways, you guys, I think this is a great face mask. I think it definitely... Oh, Liz says hi, Luke.
Hi.
Luke just went for a walk outside, huh, Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a pretty good time. And he went to work today. Did you get to feed... Luke works at a nursing home. Did you get to feed Morris?
Not today.
No, Morris is one of his favorite clients there. And he loves to feed them. Do you remember anybody that you did feed? Take a food into their room?
I don't remember.
You don't remember. Okay. It's hard to remember everybody's names. I have a hard enough time too. So you can make these in child or adult. Jan, no problem. I'm so glad that you learned some things, and hopefully you guys can have more confidence and just even enthusiasm for making some face masks, whether it's for a neighbor that you have in your community that that just won't be able to get out, or someone that doesn't own a sewing machine. Although I think that this is a great time to learn how to sew, and I'm going to try to do a video to teach you guys, for those of you guys that have got a sewing machine in your closet, how to pull it out, how to thread it, and to do all that. Nina, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. So this is a really good basic face mask. I'll have one more face mask for you with just a small bit of elastic. Yes, Luke?
Is Dolores here?
Oh, is Dolores here? Luke wants to know if Dolores is here. I didn't see her come on. I think it's so sweet that he knows all of you guys. So thank you guys for making my world a better place and for enriching it through all of your social, getting together and being able to be together and be grateful for things together. Oh, Reggie, you got no link. Then I will make sure that you get a link. So don't worry. Thanks for letting me know that you did not get a link, and I will put that. The links didn't come through in the chat. I will post them in a description afterwards. Don't worry. I should have done that at the beginning of this. So I will make comments with the link in there. I apologize. thank you for letting me know that that didn't work. So anyways, we'll see you guys a little bit later, and you guys have a fantastic day and enjoy your evening and enjoy creating and serving others in this time of hardship and serving our families. So I love you guys so much, and have a good one. Anna Ray says hi, Luke, too.
Hi.
We'll see you guys later. Have a good evening, and we'll have a good time tomorrow. I guarantee it.